everybody, it's Cara here and I am so mad. Here we are back for day 5. I've got a visitor with me here today, and this is lovely Teely, who I think you saw, we saw on the footage yesterday. I've had to move downstairs because Molly's friend Roby is here and the dogs won't stop barking, so I'm trying to stop them from barking. But here we are, another day. I am in the Atelier Jupe fabric and dress today. I think it's called the Alana dress, but I will pop the links. I'll pop the links to it in the detail below. Thank you, Teely, that's very sweet. So I haven't brought my box down, but I have got my question. So today is day 5, obviously. I sound a bit hoarse today. I think with my activities of the whole last week or so, I'm feeling a bit tired, so I sound quite deep voiced today. So Teely and I are going to answer some questions down here today instead. And this lovely question comes from Eileen on Instagram. I must say thank you to Eileen. She's always corresponding with me on Instagram, and I really do value that. So thank you very much for your continued communication with me. I really enjoy it. Excuse me. And Eileen asked me, what is my earliest sewing memory? That's a beautiful question, so thank you very much. So my earliest sewing memories are actually probably with my dad, actually. I have the most remarkable dad. He brought us up on his own. I did have a mum in my life, but she was quite a complicated lady, and chose other people in her lives to be in her life too, is the simplest way I can put that. And so we had quite a complicated childhood, and my dad worked incredibly hard because my mum never worked. That was just the way, that was the generational thing of the time. So my dad worked incredibly hard, but on his precious time, he used to dedicate time with me, and sometimes on those precious moments we would crack open the sewing machine. Now, I'm not exactly sure whose sewing machine it was, but it was very complicated. How to put a bobbin on it, how to get the tension right, all of those things were really quite hard work. But my dad persevered. He's a very mechanical and sort of engineering mind, and I would always get it working. But my actual memory of sewing with my dad is that it would take us as long to get the machine set up as it, and by the time we'd done that, our moment really had gone. So there wasn't a huge amount of sewing in it, but very treasured and precious times, and definitely sparked the later interest, because I'm talking about when I was in my teens and things, when that was happening. But I also remember when I was at primary school, we did do some sewing as part of the curriculum in those days, and I remember we had a black piece of sort of loose weave canvas, I think it was, and a wonderful pot of buttons, and we were to create a to learn to sew, we would sew buttons into a shape. And I remember making an outline of a cat out of buttons, and my favourite memory of that, and what really inspired me to create the cat, was one pink button, standard size button, but it was pink satin with white dots on it, reminiscent of a cat's nose. And that was just lovely. That was my, so that's my earliest memory of sewing. So thank you, Eileen, for that. And genuinely, thank you very much for being in such great contact with me on a regular basis. I love it. And today is another 2-day question. And this comes from Vimera, again, over on, I hope I said that, or Vimerica, sorry. I hope I've said that right, Vimerica, I think so. Again, over on Instagram, and again, a regular contributor to my channel, so thank you very much. And actually, it's quite similar to yesterday's question, so obviously I don't know in what order I put these in. And the question is, do you keep everything you sew, or do you donate or sell it after a certain amount of time? That's a great question as well. Thank you so much. And the answer is yes, I do. So yesterday someone asked me what do I do with, or certainly this week someone asked me what do I do with everything I make. And the answer is I wear everything. I, however, do when I'm rotating my wardrobe to move it from summer to winter, which I know sounds very glamorous. Some people just don't live their lives like that, but I do, and it's what I do as my hobby, and it brings me such joy. But I do actually sell items on Vinted, or donate to friends, or charity shops, if I'm no longer wearing those items. So that's the answer to that question. But there's no particular time scale to that. Some items, just like you, some items stay in my wardrobe for years and years and years, and others, I'm not even sure what happens to them. But sadly, that's how we live our lives, isn't it? I don't say sadly, oh, I don't know. But actually, I do sell them on Vinted because I would much rather know they've gone to a purposeful home than into landfill. And I don't sell for any value, particular value, because I'd much rather know those things have gone to a good home. So I hope that helps I hope that answers your question. But before all that, let's make sure I open my advent calendar from Beck's. So I brought the packet down because the box is upstairs, because I'm on dog watch here at the moment. So, oh, such a cute little bag. So inspiring. I'm just loving it. So let's see what we've got in here today. Excuse the rustling. Oh, honestly, these are absolutely stunning. Oh my goodness, look at those. Gosh, I think you have a very special project for those. Two beautiful buttons, sort of clear matte acrylic with just the most divine little hints of colour in there. Oh, if I was an earring wearer, they'd make fabulous earrings. Sadly, I can't wear earrings. They are just lovely. Yeah, look, just amazing. Beck, you are just wonderful. And I've been watching your Vlogmas, and you're still making loads, of course. And I'm delighted to hear that people are going over to your, just as a reminder, it's a Jazz and Wow. Jazz and Wow is the name of Beck's Etsy shop, where you can pick up lots of beautiful things. So, right, catch up in a bit. But before all that, let's make sure I open my advent calendar from Beck's. So I brought the packet down because the box is upstairs, because I'm on dog watch here at the moment. So, oh, such a cute little bag. So inspiring. I'm just loving it. So let's see what we've got in here today. Excuse the rustling. Oh, honestly, these are absolutely stunning. Oh my goodness, look at those. Gosh, I think you have a very special project for those. Two beautiful buttons, sort of clear matte acrylic with just the most divine little hints of colour in there. Oh, if I was an earring wearer, they'd make fabulous earrings. Sadly, I can't wear earrings. They are just lovely. Yeah, look, just amazing. Beck, you are just wonderful. And I've been watching your Vlogmas, and you're still making loads, of course. And I'm delighted to hear that people are going over to your, just as a reminder, it's a Jazz and Wow. Jazz and Wow is the name of Beck's Etsy shop, where you can pick up lots of beautiful things. So, right, catch up in a bit. Hi everyone. So as I keep mentioning, I'm going to be capturing some things that I'm doing in my life and slicing them in at some stage during my Vlogmas. And recently I shared with you that I received the amazing brand new mystery box of delights from All Set to Sew, and inside it was this fabulous fabric. Now obviously it was a massive piece of fabric. In fact, it's about 3 meters, and one of my first questions in my advent calendar was what comes first, fabric or pattern? And I honestly can tell you that in this case, the fabric has utterly inspired me, because I have never gone down a spiral so quickly around what I can do. And it being Christmas, I'm immediately thinking of gifts. And so when I saw this fabric, I'm thinking it'd make a beautiful coat again, it would make an amazing skirt. I think dungarees would be fantastic in this. So many different things. But actually, top of my list was bags because I want to make some gifts for people. And at some stage during my Vlogmas, literally in the next couple of days, you'll see that I'm getting up really early to go and collect my daughter's best friend from the airport. And she is staying with us for just a couple of days. And then the two of them are going up to London for a couple of days. And Roby is just lovely. I know she won't mind me mentioning me on her, on my channel, sorry. And she's been so beautiful to my daughter. So I just naturally wanted to make her a Christmas present. It needs to be something that can be sort of rolled up, if you like, and put into her hand luggage. So I did it. I've been recovering from the conference and things like that, but most people will be sitting down having a cup of tea. I immediately started researching how to make a tote bag. So I can take no credit for the design of what I'm about to make. I've adapted one of the YouTubers, which I can't even remember the name of, so I apologise for that, but it's had gazillion views, as a lot of these YouTube tutorials have, and I will link it down in the box below. So I'm not quite making what she has made, but it is the same principle. Because when I asked Molly, would Roby like a bag? She said, yeah. And I said, have you got one that, you want me to copy? And she gave me, which I've neatly forgotten to bring with me, but I'll try and slice in a picture here somewhere. She gave me a very big tote bag. I'm like, this is bigger than I thought it was going to be. But I went with it, so I measured it out. And the reason Molly wanted it to be that size is because she really enjoys being able to get lots of different things in. The straps were long enough to not, to be easy to put on and off. So I thought, why not go with it? And therefore, I basically sort of followed the sort of ratio of dimensions from the YouTube channel. And let me pop a slice in now, because you'll see me cutting out or the bits that I've cut out. Okay, just capturing this moment, and very kindly my husband's just muted the television because I am busy cutting up down this end and he is watching telly that end. So I am making a tote bag. Actually, I'm making, as a recap if you like, I'm copying the size of this bag, which is massive, so it's not something I'm going to be doing regularly. But that's Molly's bag, my daughter's bag, and I'm making a gift for her best friend who's coming just in a couple of days' time. So I said to Molly, I'd like to make a bag for her friend, and Molly said, oh, well, this size is a really good size. So that's what I'm going to do, but I wouldn't ordinarily make one that size, but I'll talk about it in more detail, but I just want to show you it cut out before it goes together. And as you can see here, I'm immediately using this amazing fabric that I got in my All Set to Sew box. I love it. I think it's brilliant, and I think it'd be great for skirts, bags. I think a coatigan in this would look lovely. But for me, I happen to have this lining in my stash anyway, and so this is what I've gone for. So you've got two main fabric, and then the two lining, and I'm going to put a pocket on the front, and then these are the straps. And when I'm talking to you in a minute, I'll take you through the measurements of all of those. I think my hair's getting a bit more bizarre every time I come into the sewing room. Never mind. This is me being me. So I'm going to do something unusual to inspire you, or to keep you watching, hopefully. I'm going to show you what I actually made, and then I'm going to just take you through some of the steps of it. But in all honesty, I don't want to take away from any of the other lovely YouTubers. I'm not about to do some sort of YouTube tutorial with you. But this is what I made. In fact, if I stand up and put it on, that might be easier. Look, there we go. So it is very, very big, but that's exactly what Molly wanted for Roby. It's fully lined. Let me show you that, fully lined. I put a pocket on the outside like this, and again this replicates what Molly already has. And I think this is a little rosy cheeks label. It says be strong, be happy, be you, which is totally appropriate for lovely, lovely Roby. So it is actually quite a simple construction. Let me come back in. And do you know what was really sweet? I think Molly thought I was mad suddenly she's like, but she is going to be here in just a couple of days. I went, yeah, and literally this It took me longer than I thought because actually I got the ratios wrong, and therefore this turned out to be even bigger. So I did cut it down a little bit, but I will put in the description box below. I can't remember where I wrote down the size of it. It's basically, in fact I do remember, it's 21 inches by about 21.5 inches basically, and then you cut, let me show you. So in fact here we are. I will tell you more detail in a minute. So I made the bag, I was really pleased with it, Molly was really pleased with it, and then inevitably, well not inevitably actually, she went, I really want one as well. So I was like, okay, all right. I had just enough. In fact, I've had to cut the lining of the inside, one of the pieces lining I've had to cut in 2 pieces because this lining is left over in my remnants from a jacket I made last year. So you basically, let me show you, this is basically 21 inches by about 21 inches, so pretty much square. And then you very simply cut 3 inches space out of that. You then, to make it a box pleat at the bottom, so that it's got a gusset if you like, you basically sew across that when you've got the other one as well. So actually, bear with, yeah, you basically sew that across there, and then basically you've got an outside of a bag. You then do the same for the inside, and in terms of the lining, you make some straps, which you'll have seen in the picture. So I initially made my straps and then intended to turn them through, but then couldn't get the corduroy to go down through on itself. So I've made these slightly bigger, and then I'm going to fold it in on itself like that, but a little bit less, and then fold it like that, and then stitch down. So you get a lovely strap that way. And then Molly has requested an internal pocket as well as an external pocket. And I'm actually, I think I cut out, yeah, I'm going to add an internal pocket to the one I just showed you. And that is no more complicated. Honestly, if you've never made a project before, you can do this. I literally eyeballed, this is going to be the internal pocket, and you put the fabric right sides together, like that. Sew all the way around, leave yourself a small hole to bring it out on. So bag it out, as they say on the sewing bee. You just bear it with me. And then you basically, that's how you end up with, you then sew it on, but because it's already lined effectively when you put it on there, and then you sew that on 3 sides, leaving the top empty. So really straightforward, great fun to do. I'm going to pop in a bit of footage now of me doing that, just for your entertainment. So people ask me all the time how I do so much sewing, and the actual answer is I'm quite a lazy seamstress, and so I'm going to use my overlocker predominantly for this whole process, and then do some finishing touches with my sewing machine. So you start with the pocket preparation first. Okay, so I've just gone all the way around the outside of that, and then you're just going to turn it back in on itself and poke out the corners. Oops, that's just quite the corner there. It's okay. There we are. Then obviously I've left a hole for me to be able to turn it through. And then what I'll do, as you can see there, so I'll give that an iron, and then I'll basically iron this hole, she says. I'll iron that so that it sits flat, and then when you top stitch it around, you make that one the bottom bit, as this is the nice neat edge at the top here. So in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to top stitch this. This is the top edge, if you like. Once I've ironed it, I'll top stitch across that just for a piece of detail. And then I'm also going to put a label on this as well. Okay, let me try to describe this to you. So here we are. We've got the 21 by 21-ish with the 3 inches cut out of the corners. You sew the sides. This is the lining, obviously. So you sew the sides and then the bottom. And I'm just doing it out of order. It doesn't matter. So normally you do the outer first. But when you're doing the lining, you're just going to leave a hole here in order to turn it through when you put it together. And if you're thinking, what is this shenanigans here, Cara? What's going on here? Honestly, as long as this comes out sort of square shape, it doesn't matter that there's, and this will be lost in the seam allowance anyway. But yeah, so that's what's happening there. I've also prepped both straps. So as I say, just folded them in on itself and then sewed those down. And these pockets are looking super cute. So this is going to be the internal pocket with a Made with Love. That one's for Molly. I'm retrofitting an internal pocket to Roby. So actually, no, this one's for Roby, and this one says I love you. And our previous dog was called Lara, so I thought that was lovely. And then this is the other outside bag. So they'll be attached in a moment. So the next step is to do the same thing for the main fabric as I've done here, and then you turn them the other way and add the straps, which I'll show you in a second. So no clips or anything, no pins. This is very quite stable fabric. So I'm just going to go around the 2 sides here and the bottom, and you can do the whole of the bottom. That's frustrating. My overlocker has just run out of the thread. Okay, overlocker sorted. So outside's done. So you can see there, I've got this side, and the bottom all done. And then the magic happens. I love this bit. So you've got this odd shape here. You basically now just open that out and join those 2 seams together and just whiz across, and that is what creates the bottom section of your bag. Okay, so that's the, obviously you've got a hole in the bottom there, don't forget, so that's where we'll feed it through. So I've done exactly the same to the lining. So now I'm going to add the pockets before I start putting this bag together. So on this particular bag, which is the first bag I made, I've done a retro fit of the pocket. So you will be able to see the stitching on the outside, but on the second one I'm making, I'll attach it to the lining only. And then what I've done is I just popped my iPhone, this is what I've got, into the pocket here, and then just sewed a section in, so you've got sort of an internal pocket there. I think it looks really cute. So that's that one completed. Second one's nearly done too. Okay, next job. So now I've got an outer and inner done. The pockets are on, and it's time for the straps. Because what you do is you pop your straps on, so right side to right side. So you've just got to make a decision on which side you want to be the right side, so I'm going to go with that one. And then on my other one, I just aligned the strap to the either side of the pocket, so that seemed to work pretty well. And then do the same for the straps on the other side, so I'll get them in. And then you basically pop your lining and your outer right sides together inside each other, sew around the top, and then pull it through, which I'll show you in a second. There, it's really starting to look like a bag now. So I've gone over the straps, a couple of times just to make sure they're nice and secure in there, but you'll catch them another time as you go around sewing the top. So there you go. Looks like a bag, is a bag. Okay, so I've pinned those all around so you can see you've got right sides together, and you just pin them all the way around the top, paying attention to the side seams and also that your straps are pinned in enough. I'm just going to sew that through now. Okay, so the theory is now that I can pull this out like this, and then put your hand up in through, and bring your bag out. Dun, dun, dun. So now I have got a bag with a lining, and then you push your lining, the magic part, push your lining back down through. Bear with, and there you have it. A fully lined tote bag with an internal pocket. Yay! Oh, that's such good fun. I've never made one of these before, and now I've made 2 in 24 hours. So all I'm going to do now is give that a good iron. Oh, I'm so pleased with that. I'm going to give that a good iron and top stitch around the edge, and then a little bit down into the side seams just to secure the lining in. You don't really need to do that, but I'm super pleased with that. That's really cute. And then you've got internal pocket as well. Yay! Back to the video. So I hope you enjoyed seeing my sort of foray, sort of little adventure into bag making. It's not really something I've done before, but I really enjoyed it. And actually they both came together really quickly. I did actually give the bags to Molly and Roby last night. I think I'm allowed to slice in a picture, so I shall pop that in here now. Yeah, I think they're taking them to London with them to, later in the week, so maybe in the future I'll get sent a picture and I shall share that with you. But I also wanted to say, today being the 5th of December, please head over to All Set to Sew, a beautiful website with lots of great gift ideas. So if you're watching this now and your husbands are sort of thinking, what shall I get the seamstress in my life, or your partners or your sisters, excuse me, etc. Nicola is offering 50% off your first box of delights with the code CARA50, but there is actually 50% off the first month of the majority of her subscription boxes. There are some amazing offers over on the All Set to Sew website. Now, if you use the code CARA50, I would appreciate it, because it shows that I've had an influence on her and her channel and her business, sorry. But nonetheless, there are some great offers over on All Set to Sew, and for me, I want to make sure that Nicola's business, I want to support her in whatever way I can, because she's just the most amazing woman and is so creative and has so many great ideas. So please do head over to All Set to Sew and see what's there, because she is offering 50% off a lot of the subscriptions. And if you buy a bundle, so the All Set to Sew bundle, for example, which is a box each month, so you've got several boxes that she does, she is going to deliver that in time for Christmas. But I think the 5th of December is sort of building up towards cut-offs in order for her to pre-sale and then deliver, make up and deliver in time. So please head over, that's grand. Okay, I'm going to leave it for there for today, but I've got more adventures to come in my day, and I will be popping some footage in of this day later on in Vlogmas. That's just how I want to keep some fresh content coming. So I'm living my life now, but you'll see it later. I know that makes sense somewhere along the line. So have a great day, everybody, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.